This story begins with a princess named Xian who is crying and requesting her father that she doesn't want to get married to Prince Yi. Her mother was also insisting to her father that Prince Yi was not a good match. Xian's father was also disturbed because of this marriage proposal. Xian said, "I'll die rather than get married to Yi." Her mother asked the king if there was another option, but the king said to her daughter that for this family and royalty, you have to obey. Otherwise, we'll have to pay, but Xian said, "I don't want to get married now." Her mother said to the king that Xian was not our only daughter, and the king remembered the girl on Spirit Cloud Mountain. But the king was not okay with this idea, and the day of marriage came. But the queen has succeeded in making the king agree with her point of view. A princess came out from the conveyance, and she was in a veil. King and queen discussed every little drawback, and the girl who was under the veil started peeking. Her name was She, and the old woman next to her told her to not lift her veil. At night she was waiting for the prince in his room and was tired because of the full-day travel. She asked the attendants about the prince and he told her that she had to wait a little more. They started gossiping about Prince Yi, and suddenly she realized that she was married now, but what would happen when Prince tried to come close to her? Suddenly Chef came to the door and started talking with the attendants, and she thought that he was a prince. She hides under the table because of nervousness, and the chef's talking makes her think something vicious because it is her first night. She realizes that he is not a prince, but suddenly Prince comes in. The princess was not there, but the prince told her that you don't have to come outside because he was not interested in her. "I only got married to you because of the orders, but I am only interested in Qingwan." He insulted her a little more and then he left by telling the servants that move her to Serenity Pavilion. When the servants went to the princess, they thought she'd be mad at the prince, but she was very happy out of excitement. They thought that she went mad because of the shock, but she was really happy. The servants were saying that the Serenity Pavilion is really very scary. The servant showed the princess her home and left without saying anything. She was a little mad at Yi, but she went inside and tried to clean, but she didn't do it on her own. For her help, she summoned a little spirit named Machi, who was angry with her. Because she had locked him in that box for a long time, he argued with her a little and tried to tell her that she had made a mistake by getting married to such a jerk. She tried to convince him and make him happy, and after seeing her cute face he agreed to help her. With his magic, he made everything clean and good, but now they both were hungry and tired. She opened her box and took out clothes. She started jumping on the roofs to go to the kitchen for food. But Machi stopped on the way because his energy was decreasing as he was going closer. Suddenly a man came after she and he was Yi. They had a little argument and fight and both didn't know about each other. Yi thought she was a thief and she thought that he was a guard. During the fight, his gown went untied and she said, "Oh, a guard with hot muscles at this hour of night wearing such a weird gown." And he tied his gown and tried to catch her, but she used a magic bomb and escaped. He was ashamed that he didn't catch her, and she thought that her master told her that she had to make her fate because nobody would do anything for her. She had worked on herself a lot and she had no hopes from others. The next day she was walking and thinking that her life was ruined after getting married to Yi. When Machi tried to make her happy, she punched him because she was angry with him about last night. But she said, "If you want an apology then you have to push me on the swing," and he agreed. They were enjoying and a man named Yu heard them laughing, and he started coming toward them. When he came across he saw and went close. She thought he was a handsome man. She asked if he wanted to swing, but he said he'd wait. She said it was already late and she had to go now. But he stopped her and asked for friendship and introduced himself. When he asked her name she refused and tried to leave. But he again stopped her and tried to come very close, and she did a shoulder throw on him. Yu was taking a bath and Yu went in the bathroom. He joined him in the bath and said, "You always have pretty maids, and a maid of yours done a shoulder throw on me and I am obsessed with her." Yu was shocked that a maid had done something like that. "You did a little buttering, and Yi said I'll send my all new maids to you," and Yu got excited. Yu also asked about Ye's married life, but he got angry and left the bath. She was enjoying the breeze and was talking about sorrows, and suddenly she heard the voice of someone who was also sad. She started moving toward the voice and was talking to the voice when she saw it was a horse. They both greeted each other, sat, and talked about their lively sorrows. The horse told her that the prince used to ride her daily, but now he didn't come often. Sue asked her name and said, "I'll give you a name," and gave her the name Juliet. She asked to ride and Juliet let her ride. A boy named Pa saw someone riding on Ye's horse. Pa came closer and asked to give the horse back. But Juliet told She that he was not his owner. She said, if you'll ride it I'll give it back. But when Pa tried to ride, Juliet didn't let him even come closer, and ran away. Pa started crying, but she said, don't worry, I'll teach you how to ride a horse. At night when she came home she was very tired because of the full day of horse riding. She asked Machi for food, but he said I don't have any. Suddenly the lamp turned off and a green light appeared. This was a spirit who tried to threaten them, but they yelled at her and she punched her, and asked her name. She was Sesame. Sesame was sorry for her doing and asked for an apology, but she said you have to serve us. Suddenly Sesame brought them food and they went happy. She had a nightmare in which she asked her parents to bring Shui and Kair with her, but they refused and now they were in pain. Suddenly she wakes up and tells about the nightmare to Machi and Sesame. They said you must go and check them, and she agreed to it. On the other side, Yi was in a boat and Yu was arguing with him that he didn't give him the beautiful maid. They started talking and she was walking in the city. She saw a shopkeeper who was selling a pan. He said it'll help to defend yourself against the thieves in the city. She went in and purchased it, but Machi and Sesame were shocked that a pan could save someone. Next, she went to a shop and purchased a mystery box from there. Machi and Sesame weren't happy at all, because they thought it was a waste of money. From the next shop, she purchased a cock, which was also a waste of money. Suddenly she saw people gathering and went there. She was Qingwan, who was walking and people were staring at her. She was obsessed with her beauty, and suddenly a man bumped into Qingwan and her purse went missing. Her maid tried to top him, but she came in front and threw her hen on him. But the thief saved himself and started running. She was at a blind end and Machi told her to open the mystery box. When she opened it there was a note that said, run. Yu was talking with Pa and Yu about the murder of General Nan. The murderer was Shi's father. Yu was mad and said I'll make Shen pay for Nan's murder by her blood. Today was a date between Yi and Qingwan. The thief was caught by Shi. She attacked him and he resisted but finally got injured and she won the fight. She started torturing him but he showed her his jacket that said, please spare me. But defeated her and tried to attack again, but Sesame took that arrow. When he saw a fight he jumped and asked Shi about the bomb she recently used, but she didn't answer him properly. She flipped him and slapped him, and he grabbed her by the neck and said you are fighting with a prince. She was shocked after listening to this. Suddenly Qingwan came and told him that it wasn't her fault, she was helping her from that thief. Pa and Yu came and they started talking. Qingwan told them about her mother who was sick after her dad's death, and they were there to go to the temple to pray. But when they saw the thief, she was gone. But the purse was there, and she was mad at Machi because he didn't help her. But he said he felt very weak and Sesame also told her that Machi was right. He said that he'd alert all the soldiers and asked to search for the assassin, but you told him that he might be wrong. The person must not be a wrong person, after all he helped Qingwan. Yi was angry and said let's go to the temple for the prayer. She was angry that she didn't beat Yi and Sesame told her about the top restaurant, but the owner recently threw a person out and insulted him. But the owner named Ruyan came to Shi and asked her to join her for a chicken meal because she was in a getup of a male. What will happen next? The latest updates will be on the channel. Subscribe to the channel for the latest updates.